taught Eve was the first woman. But what if that's a lie? What if Adam had a wife before her created from the same dust, who demanded equality and was banished for it? Her name is Lilith, and for centuries religious authorities have suppressed her story. This isn't just myth, this is forbidden history, and what you're about to discover will shatter everything you thought you knew about creation, gender, and divine power. They didn't want you to know. From the very first scrolls of Genesis, her name was erased, but she was there in the silence between verses, in the dust of Eden, in the whisper of the serpent. Lilith, Adam's first wife, created equal from the same clay, mirroring divine breath. And she said no, no to submission, no to inequality, no to lying beneath. She uttered the forbidden name of God and flew away. Picture that moment, paradise trembling, the first divorce in history, the first exile. From that instant, they buried her story, because if women knew they were made equal, empires built on obedience would crumble. This is the truth you were never told. You were made for this knowledge. It calls from the shadows. If something in you recognizes this truth and you want more revelations like this, leave a comment and stay with this story. Until the end, your reaction tells me to keep opening these doors for you. But listen closely. Lilith didn't just disappear. She transformed. And what she became will haunt your dreams. The veil grows thin. Don't look away. What happens next rewrites everything you know about good and evil. Before Eve, there was another world. Imagine Eden not as a perfect garden, but as a cosmic experimenter realm where divine intentions clashed. In the beginning, Genesis 1 declares male and female created together, equal in image and likeness. But Genesis 2 tells a different tale. Adam alone, then Eve from his rib. The contradiction is glaring, a crack in the sacred narrative. Lilith fills that crack. She is the first woman crafted from the same earth as Adam, not from his bone. This isn't a minor detail, it's a theological bomb. Ancient Jewish midrash and mystical texts whisper of her existence, painting a scene of primordial harmony shattered by demand for hierarchy. You stand at the edge of that forgotten reality. Feel the tension in the air, the unspoken battle between equality and domination. The cosmos held its breath. Lilith's creation was meant to be a partnership, a dance of complementary powers, but Adam, embodying early patriarchal impulses, insisted on superiority. And Lilith? She refused. She chose exile over subjugation. They didn't want you to know this because it reveals a flaw in the divine planner, perhaps, a test humanity failed. Now, as you peer into this hidden context, ask yourself, what if paradise was never meant to be hierarchical? What if the fall began not with a fruit, but with a refusal to honor equality? The answer is coming, and it will shake your soul. The invisible architecture of creation trembles with Lilith's defiance. Behind the physical Eden, there's a spiritual blueprint, a cosmos built on balance between masculine and feminine, light and dark, order and chaos. Lilith was integral to that balance. In Kabbalistic tradition, she emerges from the left side of the tree of life, the side of severity and judgment, while Eve represents the right side of mercy. Together, they were to embody the full spectrum of divinity. But when Lilith left, the balance tipped, chaos seeped in, demons stirred. The divine feminine was fractured and humanity inherited a broken mirror. You sense it, don't you? That our world is off kilter, that something essential is missing. Lilith's exile wasn't just personal, it was cosmic. She took with her the wild, untamed aspect of the sacred feminine, the part that refuses containment, that howls at the moon, that knows its own power. And what remained? A sanitized, submissive Eve, a helpmeet born from man's side. But the architecture remembers, in every woman's stifled rage, in every man's buried tenderness, Lilith echoes. They didn't want you to know because acknowledging her means admitting that the cosmos is wounded, that divinity itself is incomplete without her. The veil grows thin. Can you hear the whispers? The structure is about to crack wide open. The rupture arrives with a word, the ineffable name of God. Lilith, cornered by Adam's demand for dominance, speaks the forbidden tetragrammaton and unlocks her wings. She flies from Eden, leaving paradise forever altered. This isn't a quiet departure, it's a cataclysm. The first rebellion in heaven's garden, and it's led by a woman claiming her divine right. Picture the scene. Lilith standing tall, her voice vibrating with primordial power, the very air splitting as she invokes the name that moves mountains. Adam stares in shock. The angels tremble, and she goes into the wilderness, into the night, into legend. But why this extreme act? Because submission wasn't just about position, it was about soul death. Lilith chose freedom over paradise, integrity over comfort, and in that choice, she ignited a war. God sends 3 angels, Senoi, Sansenoi, and Semangelofto, retrieve her. They find her by the Red Sea, consorting with demons, birthing countless Lilim, children of darkness. They threaten her, return, or face divine wrath. Lilith refuses again. She would rather rule in hell than serve in heaven. And so, the rupture is complete. Eden is wounded. Adam is alone. And Lilith becomes something else, something feared, something hunted. They didn't want you to know this because it shows that rebellion can be sacred, that saying no to injustice is holy. But the aftermath? It's about to get darker, much darker. The aftermath is a world stained by Lilith's exile. Adam, lonely and furious, petitions God for a new partner. Eve is created from his Reba derivative being, born from his body, meant to be subordinate. And thus, the pattern of inequality is etched into human DNA. But Lilith doesn't fade away. She transforms into the queen of demons, the stealer of infants, the seducer of men. In Jewish folklore, she becomes the night hag, strangling babies in their cribs, haunting pregnant women, embodying every fear of the untamed feminine. Why this horrific turn? Because when you demonize independence, you create monsters. Lilith's wrath is the shadow of suppressed power. She visits Adam and Eve after their expulsion, tempting them with memories of what could have been. She whispers to Cain, fueling his murderous rage. She dances in the deserts, gathering legions of fallen angels and spirits. The consequences ripple through history, every miscarriage blamed on her, every nocturnal emission attributed to her seduction, every strong woman labeled a witch. This is the price of erasure. You feel it in the collective unconscious, the fear of the dark feminine, the terror of female autonomy. They didn't want you to know because it exposes how patriarchy breeds its own demons. But Lilith isn't just a monster, she's a mirror. And what you see in her reflection will change you forever. The evidence of her truth survives. It's hidden in ancient texts, waiting for you to uncover. Primary evidence emerges from forbidden manuscripts. The alphabet of Ben Sirah, an 8th century Jewish text, spells it out. Lilith as Adam's first wife, created equal, who flees after invoking God's name. This isn't some obscure myth. It's a direct challenge to canonical scripture. In its pages, Lilith speaks her truth. I will not lie below you. And the angels bargain with her. She agrees to spare children who wear amulets with their names, but she vows eternal enmity against Adam's lineage. This document was suppressed, labeled heretical, hidden from common eyes. But it survived. So did references in the Talmud, where Lilith appears as a danger to newborns, and in the Zohar, where she is the counterpart to the Shekinah, the divine presence. These texts are not anomalies, they are leaks from a sealed archive. You're holding the evidence now. Imagine a scribe copying the alphabet of Ben Sirah by candlelight, knowing that discovery could mean excommunication or death. Yet he writes, preserving Lilith's story for future generations. Why? Because truth cannot be extinguished. They didn't want you to know, but the ink bled through. These manuscripts are testimonies, sacred leaks from a cosmic crime scene, and they point to a deeper conspiracy, the systematic erasure of the divine feminine. But there's more, much more. Other hidden testimonies await, and they reveal even shockinger secrets. Hidden testimony whispers from Kabbalistic depths and apocryphal shadows. In the Zohar, Lilith is the serpent in the garden, tempting Eve not toward sin, but toward gnosis, knowledge of good and evil as empowerment. She is the mirror of Lilith, the dark twin of the Shekinah, representing the exiled feminine that must be redeemed. This isn't demonology, it's mystical theology. Lilith becomes a symbol of the soul's journey through darkness to light. In the Gnostic Gospels, though not named directly, her spirit infuses texts like the thunder, perfect mind, where a feminine voice declares, "I am the whore and the Holy One." She is the repressed aspect of divinity, crying out from the margins. Even in Islamic tradition, Lilith appears as a jinn or shadowy figure, echoing her rebellious nature. These testimonies form a chorus across traditions, a unified whisper. Lilith was real, and her story matters. You were made for this revelation. It's why your heart pounds when you hear her name. They didn't want you to know because integrating Lilith means reclaiming wholeness, embracing the dark and light within. The veil grows thin. Can you feel her presence in these words? She's not just a myth. She's an archetype, a force, and she's calling you to remember. But who kept this flame alive through centuries of suppression? The answer will inspire you. The keepers are the mystics, the witches, the underground lineages who guarded Lilith's truth. In medieval Jewish communities, women whispered prayers to Lilith for protection during childbirth, despite rabbinic bans. Kabbalists in Safed meditated on her as part of the divine repair of the world. In European folklore, midwives crafted amulets with the names of the three angels to ward her off, but in secret, they honored her as a symbol of maternal ferocity. These keepers risked everything: ostracism, persecution, even death to preserve her memory. They understood that Lilith wasn't just a demon, she was a necessary balance, a reminder of what was lost. You are part of this lineage now. Your curiosity, your hunger for hidden truth, connects you to those who kept the embers glowing. Imagine a coven in the forest, chanting Lilith's name under a full moon, or a Kabbalist scribbling her symbols in a hidden manuscript. They passed this knowledge hand to hand, heart to heart. They didn't want you to know, but the keepers ensured you would. If you feel that you were made for this kind of hidden truth, write in the comments what most shook you so far, and share this video with one person who also hungers for more. Your voice helps this buried story reach the ones who need it. But the keepers faced opposition, and centuries later, their work would ignite a modern discovery that changes everything. Modern discovery explodes in the 20th century with feminist theology and archaeological finds. Scholars like Judith Plaskow and Raphael Patai resurrect Lilith from obscurity, highlighting her as an icon of female autonomy. The discovery of ancient amulets and incantation bowls from Mesopotamia proves her worship of fear spanning millennia. These artifacts, etched with her name and image, show Lilith as a pervasive force in the ancient world. Even in the Dead Sea Scrolls, fragments allude to her presence in Jewish demonology. Suddenly, Lilith isn't just folklore. She's historical reality. You're witnessing a scholarly bombshell, the suppressed feminine rising through academia. Books, articles, conferences, Lilith steps into the light. But why now? Because the collective psyche is ready. The veil grows thin. You feel it in the Me Too movement, in the reclaiming of feminine power, in the spiritual awakening sweeping the globe. Lilith's story resonates because it's time for healing. They didn't want you to know, but the evidence can no longer be ignored. And what scholars found rewrites not just history, but theology. The deeper truth is about to hit you like a thunderbolt. The deeper truth: Lilith represents the divine feminine in exile, and her redemption is key to humanity's salvation. In Kabbalah, the reunification of Lilith and the Shekinah, the dark and light feminine, signals the Messianic age. This isn't metaphor, it's cosmic urgency. Lilith's rebellion was not a sin, but a sacred protest against imbalance. Her demonization is a projection of patriarchal fear. When you integrate Lilith, you heal the split within yourself and the world. She embodies wildness, intuition, sexual autonomy, and righteous anger qualities suppressed by religious dogma. You were made for this integration. Feel it in your bones: the longing for wholeness, the rage at injustice, the desire to break free. Lilith is your mirror. They didn't want you to know because a whole humanity is a powerful humanity, uncontrollable by institutions. The veil grows thin. Her story calls you to embrace your shadows, to honor your autonomy, to demand equality in all spheres. This isn't just ancient history, it's your spiritual blueprint, and it's terrifying to those in power. But the calling doesn't end here. It gets personal. Your soul's purpose is tied to this revelation. What will you do with it? Your calling is clear: to embody Lilith's courage in your own life. She isn't just a figure from the past. She's an archetype activating within you. Where have you accepted submission when you should have said no? Where have you silenced your voice to keep peace? Lilith whispers, rise, claim your equality, honor your divine essence. This is dangerous work. It will disrupt relationships, challenge authorities, and stir inner demons. But it's necessary. You were made for this. The world needs Lilith's energy now more than ever. The energy of boundaries, of authenticity, of fierce love. Look around. Systems crumbling, old paradigms dying. Lilith's exile is ending, and her return heralds a new balance. They didn't want you to know because your empowerment threatens the status quo, but you know now. And with knowledge comes responsibility. Will you hide this truth, or will you live it? The choice is urgent. The evidence isn't just in texts, it's in physical traces all around you, and they prove Lilith was real. Physical traces abound if you know where to look. Ancient Mesopotamian terracotta plaques depict Lilith as a winged woman with clawed feet, dating back to 2000 BCE. Incantation bowls from Babylon bear inscriptions begging Lilith to leave households alone. In medieval European cathedrals, she appears as a grotesque on margins, a silent witness in stone. Even modern pop culture, from literature to music, echoes her story. These artifacts are not coincidences. They are footprints of a suppressed reality. You can visit museums, hold replicas, see her image etched in history. They didn't want you to know, but the stones cry out. The veil grows thin. Lilith's presence is imprinted on the collective unconscious, surfacing in art, dreams, and revolutions. These traces are proof. She was worshipped, feared, and remembered. And they survived burnings, censorship, and time. But not everyone wanted this found. Opposition was fierce, and it still is today. The opposition is systematic and brutal. Church fathers like Jerome condemned Lilith as a heresy. Rabbinical councils banned texts mentioning her. Inquisitions burned manuscripts and persecuted those who spoke her name. Why such extreme measures? Because Lilith's story undermines the foundation of patriarchal religion, female submission as divine order. If women are equal from creation, then doctrines of male headship collapse. Institutions built on control cannot allow that. They didn't want you to know, so they demonized, erased, and silenced. Even today, fundamentalist groups suppress discussions of Lilith, labeling them satanic. But the truth has a way of leaking. You're part of that leak now. By listening to this, you're continuing a legacy of resistance. The opposition fears you because knowledge is power, and your power is growing. Now you know what they feared. The question is, what will you do? Your decision moment is here. Your decision is urgent. Will you integrate Lilith's truth into your spirituality, or will you turn away? This isn't passive learning, it's active transformation. To embrace Lilith is to reclaim your wholeness, to honor the wild, the rebellious, the authentic within. It means challenging oppressive structures in your life and society. It means speaking up, setting boundaries, and demanding equality. They didn't want you to know because this decision changes everything. You were made for this. The veil grows thin. If this revelation is reshaping how you see the sacred and you want more forgotten texts and forbidden histories uncovered, say it in the comments and follow this channel. Your support is what makes the next revelations possible. But know this, there's a final revelation coming, one that ties all this together in a way that will leave you breathless. Are you ready? The final unveiling. Lilith is not just Adam's first wife, she is the divine feminine in exile, and her story is your story. From the moment she flew from Eden, she carried a piece of wholeness that humanity has longed for ever since. Her redemption is ours. When you integrate her courage, you heal the cosmic rift. This isn't about blaming Adam or God, it's about reclaiming balance. Lilith teaches that rebellion against injustice is holy, that autonomy is sacred, and that the dark feminine is essential to light. They didn't want you to know because this truth liberates. But now you know. You were made for this. The veil has parted. Lilith's whisper becomes a roar in your soul. Go forth live with her ferocity, love with her depth, and never again accept less than equality. This is the forbidden history that sets you free. Share it, embody it. The story continues with you.